right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin this lesson by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakudash. Double honors to the head apostles and elders. Salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. My name is Marsha Pot, coming back again through the Spirit. Habakakwadash, the Lord willing, edify the sheep, the lambs of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And this lesson was inspired. I was listening to a recent lesson the elder Yashawamba did, and it inspired me to go into the Tower of Babel and the story of Nimrod and that whole little story. So I'm gonna just go into it briefly, and Lord willing, this isn't too long of a lesson, but Lord willing, it's edifying. All right, because as the scriptures tell us that, there is no new thing under the sun, right? And it also tells us that the things written aforetime are written for our learning. Okay, so let's go into the story, which is based on the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 1 through 9. All right, it says the Tower of Babel narrative in Genesis chapter 11, 1 through 9 is an origin myth. They say it's a myth, but we believe through faith that this is something that really occurred, meant to explain why the world's peoples speak different languages. According to the story, a united human race in the generations following the Great Flood, speaking a single language and migrating westward, comes to the land of Shinar. There they agreed to build a city and a tower tall enough to reach heaven. The Most High, observing their city and tower, confounds their speech so that they can no longer understand each other, and scatters them around the world. Okay, and I want to go into Josephus. Where is that at? And other sources. All right. So, and I'm bringing this out because, it's pretty hot conversation right now to speak about the NWO, the New World Order, the microchip, the mark of the beast, these vax, the conspiracies, all this good stuff. This is all, damn near regular conversation now amongst a lot of people. And this is an example of one of those things that happened aforetime, man, where you had those Hamites, which Nimrod was a Hamite, a so-called African. He was the son of Cush, who was the son of Ham, who was the son of Noah. All right, and these would be your so-called Ethiopians today. And as the scripture, well, I don't think they really said it, but I might go ahead and read it real quick. Matter of fact, let me go to the book of Genesis chapter 10 just to put some context into it. Let's start at verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Put and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba and Havilah and Saptah and Ramah and Saptecha. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. All right, in the NIV version it says, who became a mighty warrior on the earth. Verse 9, he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Now, who does that remind you of? Okay, that should remind you of Esau, because the scriptures tell you that Esau was a cunning hunter, right? It says he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel and Erech and Akkad and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Now, I want to get a visual on the land of Shinar, just for edification, because this is all in that what you call the Middle East region. Okay, so the land of Shinar, that's modern day Iraq. You see the Euphrates River right there. Syria, that's all of that is what modern day pretty much Iraq and whatever that is northwest to Iraq. But this is where it's speaking about. So this is the kingdom of Nimrod here. All right, now let's hold on. Let me see if there's any more in that. Yeah, so now let's read this. This is from Josephus, Antiquities of the Romans, Antiquities of the Jews. This was a book. The Jewish Roman historian Flavius Josephus, in his Antiquities of the Jew, circa 94 CE. So it was written around 94 CE, which is Common Era, after the death of the Messiah, recounted history as found in the Hebrew Bible and mentioned the Tower of Babel. He wrote that it was Nimrod who had the tower built, and that Nimrod was a tyrant who tried to turn the people away from the Most High. Let's look up that word tyrant, because what are people doing right now in the U.S.? They're protesting. Well, it's really Edomites, but the Edomites right now are protesting tyranny. Okay, a tyrant is an absolute ruler, unrestrained by law or constitution. So somebody who rules that's exempt from the law. They do what the hell they want to do. A usurper of sovereignty, a ruler who exercises absolute power oppressively or brutally. So they're saying, according to Josephus, Nimrod was a tyrant who tried to turn the people away from the Most High, which is what they're doing, in the world now. Esau is turning the people away from, particularly the Israelites, away from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's what he's been doing, and that's his whole agenda, to turn the whole, all the population against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right? And that Nimrod was a tyrant who tried to turn the people away from the Most High. In this account, the Most High confused the people rather than destroying them, because annihilation with the flood had not taught them to be godly. Right? So we talking, what was this? 6,000 years ago, roughly, somewhere around that time. And these people, the flood had just happened not too long ago, and these people were still being wicked. So the Most High said, well, I ain't going to destroy them. I'm just going to confuse their asses. They ain't going to be able to understand each other. All right. It says, now this is a good little story. I'm going to go ahead and just read all of this. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and cue up Genesis chapter 11, just in case I need to refer to that. Now, it was Nimrod, which in the Hebrew is Namrad, or Namarada, or Namrad, which means what? Confusion. If I'm not confusion, it means rebellion. Let me go to it just to edify with that, because that also links to I ain't even gotta say his name. This is Genesis chapter 10, verse 8. Cush begat Nimrod, Namrad, which means rebellion or the valiant. Okay, so his name means rebellion. The son of Cush, grandson of Ham, great-grandson of Noah, a mighty hunter. He established an empire in the area of Babylon and Assyria. So we already see the similarities between him and E. They're mighty hunters and rebellious. All right, back to chapter 11, and let's go ahead and finish reading. Now it was Nimrod who excited them to such an affront and contempt of the Most High. So he amped the people up, man. He got them bucked to be rebellious against the Most High. He was the grandson of Ham, the son of Noah, a bold man and of great strength of hand. He persuaded them not to ascribe it to the Most High as if it were through his means they were happy, but to believe that it was their own courage which procured that happiness. So he wanted the people to basically attribute things to their own willpower. Don't give praises to the Most High. You did that, man. And this is the same thing today. A lot of people, they attribute things to themselves. It's because I did this. It's because I grinded hard. It's because I worked hard for it. It's because I did the law of attraction and all this other madness, man. Because even like today, for example, prime example, a lot of people are talking about the microchip in the mark of the beast, and what's happening. A lot of people that's talking about it are not bringing up the fact that this is in the Bible. They're not bringing up the fact that this is biblical prophecy, man. which what takes away from the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So people are bringing this up like they came up with it, like it's their own philosophy, like it's their own prophecy, like they made it up, man. You see, so it's the same thing happening over again today. All right, it says, where we at? But to believe that it was their own courage which procured that happiness. He also gradually changed the government into tyranny, seeing no other way of turning men from the fear of the Most High, but to bring them into a constant dependence on his power. You see, same thing happening today. This is what he doing. He's purposely collapsing the economy, forcing a lot of small businesses to go out of business, destroying the food chain. Why? Because he's about to put it to where a lot of the population is going to have to lean on and depend on him for survival, or so they think. Because we know that we don't lean and trust in man for our survival. We know that we're fed through Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, as is written in the book of St. Matthew, chapter 6, right? The Lord mentioned how the birds, take observation how the birds that don't sow and don't reap, but yet they're fed. Roughly paraphrasing, he said, how much more important are we than the birds? So we know that we're going to get fed because Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai wants us to be fed and wants us to be clothed and wants us to be taken care of according to his will. So reading on, I'm going to read that again, though. Seeing no other way of turning men from the fear of the Most High, but to bring them into a constant dependence on his power. Now the multitude were very ready to follow the determination of Nimrod and to esteem it a piece of cowardice to submit to the Most High. And they built a tower. So they basically would shun you if you say, man, I ain't going to do that, man. That's against the laws of the Most High. Oh, you coward. You pussy. Right? They want to shame you. What would they call it today? God shame or something like that? They probably call it something like that. They'll God shame you or something like that, And they built a tower, neither sparing any pains, nor being in any degree negligent about the work. And by reason of the multitude of hands employed in it, it grew very high, sooner than anyone could expect. But the thickness of it was so great, and it was so strongly built, that thereby its great height seemed upon the view to be less than it really was. It was built of burnt brick, cemented together with mortar, made of bitumen, that it might not be liable to admit water. So it sounds like they built it to where it wouldn't get flooded, or it wouldn't get rained out or flooded or whatever. Okay, it says when the Most High saw that they acted so madly, they was being crazy down there. They losing their mind. They bugging out there on the earth. He did not resolve to destroy them utterly, since they were not grown wiser by the destruction of the former sinners in the flood, because that's what the Most High did back then. Okay, the people grew wicked. Their wickedness waxed worse and worse. So what did he do? He just destroyed their asses and started off. But you had these rebellious Hamites here that ain't learned their lesson. So the Most High was like, you know what? I ain't gonna flood them again. I'm gonna do something else. But he caused a tumult among them. Let's look up that word. Tumult. That's funny. That should come up. Oh, all right. That's why TMU. There you go. Tumult means
tumult,
a disorderly agitation or milling about of a crowd, usually with uproar and confusion of voices. A turbulent uprising, a violent agitation, a violent outburst. All right, commotion. Gotcha. So it says, but he caused a tumult among them by producing in them diverse languages and causing through the multitude of those languages they should not be able to understand one another. Now let's go to the first verse. Genesis 11:1. It says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Now what was that language? That language was the Lashawan Kodash, which means the holy tongue, which is Hebrew. Everybody spoke Hebrew back then. But what happened? The Most High confounded the languages, man. He cut it out to where they couldn't understand each other. So, imagine, one day everybody, we all plotting and coming up with a strategy, to do this and do that, and we all speaking English. The next thing you know, I'm speaking English, you speaking Spanish, she speaking French, he speaking Russian, this guy speaking Dutch. He confounded the languages, man. So now there was a bunch of confusion going on. And that's the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So don't doubt that. How could that happen, man? Yahweh Bashem Yahushua flooded the earth, man. He can change some languages. The scriptures tell you that the earth is his footstool, man. All right, so the things that go on the earth is nothing too far out for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Give me a second real quick. I need to plug this up. All right, let's back to it. Let's get back to by producing in them diverse languages and causing that through the multitude of those languages, so many languages, they should not be able to understand one another. The place wherein they built the tower is now called Babylon because of the confusion of that language. Right? So, Babylon comes from the root word Babal, the Hebrew word Babal, which means confusion. So the place where they built the tower is now called Babylon, which is where? In modern day Iraq. Now let's get a visual for that. You see that? Babylon. You see that red right there? So that's where this all took place at. Oh shit, I don't want that. Okay, so looking at the map, that's Iraq. You see that? Babylonian Empire. That's Iraq. Alright, so that's Iraq. That's what you call Iraq today. Alright, and I just brought that out for edification. And where we at? The place wherein they built the tower is now called Babylon because of the confusion. Hold on 1 second. This shit a little too loud right now. Hold on. All right, there we go. Because of the confusion of that language which they readily understood before. For the Hebrews mean by the word Babal, confusion. Or Babel, they say Babel, but in the right tongue is Babal, confusion. The Sibyl also makes mention of this tower and of the confusion of the language when she says thus, when all men were of one language, some of them built a high tower as if they would thereby ascend up to heaven, but the gods, is plural, sent storms of wind and overthrew the tower and gave everyone a peculiar language, and for this reason it was that the city was called Babylon. Okay, so yeah, and that's it, man. Book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down there and confound their language, that they may not understand one another. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore it is the name of it called Babel, or Babel, or Babal, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. All right, so when you had these heathens trying to be like the Most High, basically thinking they're gonna achieve their enterprise or whatnot, the Most High intervened. So I bring all that out to say that there's no new thing under the sun. You have these heathens that are, as it says, imagining a vain thing. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? At the NIV version, it says, why do the nations conspire and the people plot in vain? You see that? So you have these heathens, they're plotting in vain, man. They're imagining a vain thing. They're conspiring to do away with a huge portion of the earth's population, preserve about 500 million, and have the rest of them implanted with microchips. You know, merging man with machine so that they can be like the most high on the planet. You see that? So, there's no new thing under the sun, man. And this is the vain thing because this is not the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Ultimately, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to step in like he did at the time of Nimrod. This is, what is it? Book of Job, I believe. Job chapter 20, verse 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So when these devils think that, their plans have been successful, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to bring that destruction, man, and confound their asses and bring them low again, man. So, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. I want to end by giving all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Shem Rakah Kodash. Shalom.